Hi, good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of Cooking More with Less. My name is Celina Cordoba, and I just wanted to thank everybody for all the encouragement, for all the encouraging words, and just to keep me motivated to do more. It's not always easy setting stuff up on your own in your house, but I've really felt blessed to be able to connect with you guys and to just share a little bit of what I've learned throughout the years about cooking and just combining basic ingredients to create great results. Again, Cooking More with Less is all about using what you have in your kitchen to create great vegetarian, like vegan, pescatarian meals. So I do read my comments, and a couple people were like, hey, can you make some more stuff without fish? We eat fish like twice, hopefully 3 times a week on a good week, but because it's 3 of us, we usually just make one piece and split it between us all. So we're not huge fish eaters, but I think it's necessary to incorporate real food. Like, I'd rather eat fish than like eat soy or tofu or anything like that. And seeing as how we've kept away from it for years, I just think that it's great to be able to digest real foods that come from real whole sources. So last time we were making a veggie lasagna, and I'm standing a little bit in the light because the light's here rather than stepping back. But our veggie lasagna featured some eggplant and mushrooms. So often, like a lot of us, we keep veggies in our fridge or have a couple things that we didn't maybe use all of in one dish. So that long eggplant that we did use, I cut it up again into little pieces, and we're gonna make a really simple dish today. I have some haricots verts, or green peas, string beans. Here goes some eggplant, and we're going to combine our eggplant with some nice golden potatoes. These come the really small ones, like the ones that are really tiny. I just cut them in half and boiled them down in some hot water for about 15 minutes. You don't want to get them too soft and mushy, but a lot of people forget. After you boil your potatoes, throw them in a colander, rinse them off, and shove them in the freezer for like 10 minutes, because what it does is it kind of expels all the water from the potato, and you have a firmer potato in your hand, which is great. So this is going to melt down with the eggplant, and we're going to combine some simple stuff. What you need for this is some onion and garlic. You'll be surprised. Onion, garlic, melted into some eggplant. We're going to cook that down until it, gets nice and caramelized and really soft. And then we're going to add our potatoes to it. And we're going to use a little bit of fresh tomatoes. Sometimes I blend my tomatoes if they're not that like ripe or sweet. Instead of throwing them away or them going to waste, I'll blend them in my blender and then store it in the fridge or the freezer. So onion, 4 cloves, look at me, onion, garlic, onion, eggplant, potatoes, string beans. We're going to use the remainder of the garlic and onion for our string beans in terms of whatever we don't use for the eggplant. So that's it. Here we go. And also, I was thinking about just how much great commentary I got in terms of, like, sometimes we forget to blend some old school spun wisdom with new school magic. And that's kind of something that I've always tried to stay connected to. So today, for example, we're using onion. Onion used to be used back in the day to kind of like rid bad energy in your home. I read a great book. It was, I'm trying to remember the name. There's a couple of them, but I'm going to throw out some bibliography for you guys to look up if you do want to do the knowledge stuff on your own. But basic herbs like basil, thyme, oregano, if we use them for food and for preserving food and curing food, think of all the ways that they can enhance our skin and our body. Like, a lot of commissions back in the day used to really bathe in saffron. And saffron really enriched their skin and made them feel exotic and beautiful. But saffron's so expensive. I went to a spice store the other day and I was able to get a nice bushel of it. So I'm definitely incorporating that in some baths in the future to come. And always just thinking of ways to keep my spirit and to keep my energy a little light. So we're going to get the olive oil out and get going. Olive oil in the bottom of your pan. You just need to glaze it. I think I can be seen. Yep. So yeah, just place your pan with the bottom. At the bottom, I'd say about, it looks like a lot, but about 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons. So go ahead and keep that on low. We're gonna add our onion and our garlic. And I'm leaving a little bit of our garlic behind for those string beans that we're gonna cook after the potato dish is done. Now you'd be surprised, when we were in Barbados, I took a couple pictures of this dish, and it's so easy, but they're basic ingredients, and you're like, what? Potatoes and eggplant? But again, instead of throwing things out, figuring out ways to marry certain ingredients to make something spectacular. So, that's what we gonna do. So yeah, onion. Onion is great to, like, let's say if you're entering a new space, or you feel like there's some stagnation in your life, you know, you want to bring more wealth into your home, all that good stuff, which all of us can benefit from, by the way. But oftentimes, like, you'll come home and you'll feel like, wow, my space is great, but, you know, I want to enrich it. And also, like, who was here before? What energy was cultivated here before? Because energy does linger if you do not move it, right? And that's with anything. Stagnation in your legs, your mind, all of that. So, an onion, one onion, if you cut it into 4 different pieces and put it in the 4 corners of your home where you feel like you know, most people, I would say the living room, where a lot of people frequent, right? So you put 4 corners of onion in that space, not like a huge piece, but just a little chunk at nighttime or whatever, where people don't, you know, realize you're doing it. And it absorbs a lot of toxins and a lot of negativity out of your home. So keep it there for like 2 or 3 days, you know, until it kind of dries out. And then just pick it up with the paper bag and throw it out. Now, these things might not mean much to many people, but for those that still believe in a little bit of angelic energy and the fact that we're not here alone, and the fact that everything does happen for a reason, and the fact that no matter where we are in life is where we're supposed to be. Yeah, we can always improve and stuff, but you know, I always try to say to myself, I'm here for a reason. These things are happening to me for a reason. Even if I don't like it, it's still taking place for a reason. So let me not fight the flow, you know? So yeah, cooking is something that should be done with a lot of love and joy. So if you even enter your kitchen, you know, try to let go of the fact that you gotta cook food and you gotta, because that's what makes the process laborious. That's what makes it really, you know, tiresome. So okay, we got our eggplant, our onion, and our garlic in this pan. What I'm gonna do is add some salt, some pepper. Very simple, just salt and pepper actually right now. Really, really easy. And it tastes so amazing with a little bit of that fresh tomato sauce, because then what we're going to do is we're going to throw the potatoes on top and let the eggplant and all that goodness marry in with the tomatoes and the other vegetables, the eggplant, and it's delicious. And it's like simple, you know. So I'm going to let this marry down and get nice and soft instead of talking your heads off. And we'll come back in like 6-7 minutes when this is nice and tender. We're going to add our tomatoes and add our potatoes and be done in like 15 minutes. All right, you guys, see you in a second. So we are back, and I just wanted to show you that this is how it starts to look. You see how it starts to all get kind of gooey and soft? That's exactly the texture that you want it at right before you throw in your little tomato sauce and tomatoes. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to add the potato, and we're going to be done. Throw our green string beans into this pan with the remainder of the onion, garlic, and olive oil. We're going to add basic seasoning to it. And this meal is something that you can make for your children. You know, you can add to a major dish at night. If you do eat other things, you can add it to a little bit of fish. But something so simple like this is yum yum, delicioso. And we're about to finish it. All right. So another thing about cooking in your kitchen, like myself, I sweat so much. So I have to keep a little rag on my face so I don't look like I'm melting. But I put exactly a half a cup of tomatoes that included a little bit of tomato sauce in the bottom of the pan. So you saw it right before the tomato sauce hit it. Now that the tomato sauce is in it, I'm gonna throw the potatoes in. The last step. And you're gonna see some beautiful colors come out of this. You don't have to season it with more because the onion and the garlic did basically all of the work. With just the potatoes and all the goodness, it's so good. It's crazy. So I'm gonna kind of hold this up so you guys can get a visual, because I know people love the visuals. So that's it, right? Huge, beautiful, beautiful colors, really rich. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut some organic parsley, Italian parsley, and just throw it in at last minute just to bring out all the flavors and to marry everything. And if you want, you can go ahead and taste one of your potatoes. Make sure it's seasoned with enough salt, you know, to your liking. It doesn't need anything else. I actually put the perfect amount of salt, just a couple of shakes, and the perfect amount of pepper. So you'd be surprised, that's basically done. Now all I'm gonna do is add my olive oil, the remaining of the ingredients, throw in my string beans, and cook those down. Oh, this is funny. Like, you know, a lot of people like their almonds and like different stuff in their string beans. Because this dish, because the potato dish is so enriching, it'll kind of mess up the flavors, at least the flavor palette. While you're cooking your string beans, you don't need all this extra stuff. This would taste great with some brown rice if you have like a wild rice dish. So I try not to overdose. Like in life, some things don't need to be added. Simplicity can be best. So I'm not going to use these right now because I don't think that it marries and goes well with the other dish. But tomorrow I might use the rest of my string beans and some greens, and and some fish, and throw this in it, and it'd be perfect. Because almonds and fish go well together, but almonds and potatoes and eggplant, not so much. So I'm throwing in the last, and that'll be it. So I always try to make a green, even if it's a little quick salad, just because Amora needs it, and so do we. A lot of people forget to just incorporate a simple green to make something complete. So as you can see, not a lot of the potatoes in here are breaking down. They're not becoming mealy. You know, you don't want them to become so soft that you can't enjoy the actual potato. So this is pretty much done. I'm gonna throw this in a little bowl with some green beans on top for Amora, and he's gonna go crazy, and so am I. And then tonight, if I do make a little piece of salmon or something, all of my side dishes are done. My greens are done, and my carbs are done. And that's kind of how I do it. I try to do stuff during the day so that in the evening, I'm not so overwhelmed by all the other things I have to take care of. So yeah, onion's a great one to just throw in the corner. Same thing, like if you have crazy dreams at night, or you know, you're waking up all the time with just interrupting dreams, or there'll be a number of reasons, but one thing that you can do to create some balance and harmony while you sleep is if people have a bowl, a clear bowl, just put some water in it with a little bit of sea salt at the bottom. Even if you don't have salt, sea salt, you can just still use water. Just put some water in a bowl and literally put it underneath your bed just to create some purification. It's literally the purity and the symbology being infused or being transmuted, because as above, so below. So if we are thinking of things in a magical sphere, try to think of things real simple. Hey, a bowl of water. My thoughts will be clear like water. And that actually does create some simplicity and some balance. I used to do that for Amora when he was a baby, just to keep him in a baby stasis, because they're so magnetized, there's such magnets at that age, that they literally draw and pick up on so much vibration. So, I wanted to mention that because it is very important. So yeah, do that. I'm adding my green beans. And And one thing you can do to cook them down if you are glazing them in the pan is you can, I'm going to let these just sit in this for like 10 minutes. Slow and steady wins the race, right? You don't want to overcook your string beans, and you don't want to make them too crazy. I love that it's like 15 days away from Christmas, and I am sweating. Thank you, Creator. And I say that to say I miss New York at times, but not the cold weather and not all of the other intense energy that sometimes comes along with New York. So again, I'm going to cover this pan just because I want them to get a little softer. Add some salt and pepper, and we'll come back. I'll let you guys see the finished product. All right. Okay, so I wanted to show you and let you guys in on another little secret. See how pretty these look right now? They're not too overkilled. This is a cap full of maple syrup, not even. That's not even a tablespoon or a teaspoon. It's like a little drizzle. You'd be surprised what a little drizzle can make. And that's what I mean by simple is sometimes better. I do that sometimes to just cut in on a little bit of bitterness, and they're not actually bitter to me. I love the taste of a fresh string bean. But when they're cooked down like this and they have the garlic and the onion, it sometimes becomes a little like really full body. This kind of cuts it through and makes it taste all nice and succulent in your mouth. Just use a little bit. I mean, not even a capful. A drizzle, because it will make your vegetables sweet, and you don't want it to make it sweet. You just want it to marinate and to allow all the other bold flavors to be, you know, kind of muted. And that's really it. I put that in it. I don't really like my string beans on the mushy side. Some people do. This right here is kind of perfect for me. So we're pretty much done. This was just made again. Onion, garlic, salt, pepper, a little bit of maple syrup, and our potatoes are ready and done as well. Our eggplant infused tomato, yummy encrusted potatoes. So the last step, again, we talked about the power of parsley, but this is some Italian, organic Italian parsley, and I'm just gonna cut up a bushel and add it on top of a Morris dish. Keep them healthy, allow them to not get sick. And it's true, if you are just relying on whole foods as a source to keep strong, you know, make sure that you're having your vitamin C, juicing, you know, just a lemon, or throwing a half a lemon in your juice in the morning, whether it be beet and kale, anything. That boosts so much of your immunities, and we kind of take for granted how much we can stay healthy throughout the year without having to necessarily rely on anything but juicing, good fruits, vegetables, and salads, and simple dishes like this that can be carried into the nighttime. So thank you very much. I'm gonna definitely put this in a bowl and take a picture of it, but you guys saw both products. And again, it only takes like 20 minutes, even though I might have spoke for that amount of time. I wanted to allow you guys in on the journey. Thanks so much. I will see you very soon. And I also wanted to show, I am soaking some green split peas for my soup tonight, because I have a little bit of potatoes left, and I don't even think I'll use them in this, but I soak my beans for at least 8 hours, so that when I do throw them in tonight with just a little bit of celery, some basic ingredients, this can turn out to be a great soup, and then Amora has lunch for tomorrow. Cooking more with less, cooking more with less. I love ya, I love ya, I love ya. I'll see you guys. Thank you. And this is the finished product. Really simple, really delicious and great. You can see that to end no one and then be thankful. Sometimes simple is good. Enjoy, you guys.